more interesting books of the year that's come out is Crisis of Character, a White House Secret Service officer disclosing his firsthand experience with Hillary, Bill, and how they operate. That is Gary Byrne, and he's joining us again here on the show. Gary, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for giving me some time.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
I'd like to get your reaction to the stories that have circulated here about the Clinton campaign and ties to the Clinton Foundation and how how they were intertwined. Because I know it's been a few years since you spent time around the Clintons, but I imagine most of this is nothing new.
No, it's not, unfortunately. Basically, if your listeners are kind enough to read my book, Crisis of Character, they will see so many familiar things that are happening right now that happened 20 years ago or so during the Monica Lewinsky scandal. And the idea that all these organizations are connected, yes, that's the typical Clinton modus operandi. They work like almost, like a crime family. Everybody that's involved in this right now, I mean, I actually, believe it or not, I have a little sympathy for Huma Abedin right now because I kind of know what she's going through right now. She's surrounded by lawyers and FBI agents, and they are going to rip her apart. And they're going to find out, using legal tactics, exactly what it is that these people have done with all this classified information. And it's about time. The truth is we should have been having this discussion a year ago.
You said that you told one media outlet that you felt somewhat vindicated when some of the WikiLeaks and backroom dealing documents came out. Why was that?
Because when my book came out, a group of Clinton supporters, or sycophants as I call them, the Retired Secret Service Agents Association, they came out and slandered me and said I could have never seen those things. David Brock and Media Matters came out and said the same thing. When the FBI report was leaked out a couple of weeks ago or last week, it vindicated the fact of one of the things that I've said all along is that guarding and protecting Mrs. Clinton was treated as punishment for the Secret Service when I was there, and also with the State Department guys. They basically vindicated what I've said all along, that she's this angry, distant, cold person who has no leadership skills whatsoever. It was so bad for the State Department guys that the senior guys that normally run the detail left. They got off it. They would do anything to get away from her. That just shows you that what I said in my book is true, and what we experienced in the Secret Service was the same thing.
I know it's been a couple of weeks since the debate where this happened, but Donald Trump chose to bring forward several women who had made accusations against Bill Clinton. It made for some good television at the debate because they were right there in the audience. It reminded me when I watched that interaction, that awkwardness, of some of the excerpts in your book where you witnessed some of this activity right in the Oval Office.
Yeah, exactly. The one. All those women that Mr. Trump had up there, I feel bad for all of them. But the one that always bothered me was Kathleen Willey, because she was, and I want your listeners to really listen close to this. Kathleen Willey was a Clintonite. She was a supporter of the Clintons. She volunteered. She helped get them in the office. They donated money. She was working as a volunteer in the White House complex at the old executive office building. She was so highly thought of at the time that when she wanted to ask for a permanent job, a paying job, because they were having some financial problems. She had the clout to pick up the phone and get a 5-minute meeting with the President of the United States. No problem whatsoever. When she went over there to talk to the President and talk about her problems, he allegedly accosted her in the hallway just behind the Oval Office, basically where the bathroom and the study and the dining room were. He tried to grope her. I mean, we've all heard her stories. If you can't believe her story, then you can't believe anybody else, any other woman that's ever told you that she's been mishandled or abused. Because it rings true, and especially rings true to me because I don't know that I was there, but I was always afraid, what if I was standing outside? What would I have done? It's just
We're talking
Unbelievable.
We're talking to Gary Byrne, a former Secret Service agent who wrote the book Crisis of Character. When you and I first talked about this, you said you wrote it because you wanted people to know the Hillary Clinton that you knew. And you've said in the past that when it came to Bill, personally, you thought he was a nice guy, but you couldn't imagine his wife running the country.
No, you're right. He was friendly. He was kind at times. He was funny. He acted like a guy, when nobody was around. And, but, like I probably told you this too, that, I liked him. He was friendly, but I wouldn't trust him to drive my 27-year-old niece home. So, you had to be careful around them, so to speak.
But even then, they were protective of Hillary's image. I mean, nobody really knew the side of her that you saw.
Their image, that's the thing. There's no separation in their image. It's not even, I stopped calling it an image. It's a brand. It's the Clinton brand. And the only reason that she needs him is because she is not personable. She's not kind. She's this person I described in my book, Crisis of Character, where she's angry all the time, where he's the exact opposite. He is the most, he's kind, he's funny, he's so, he can ingratiate himself on somebody in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
I've seen it many, many times. He's the opposite of her. And that's why she needs him, and that's why they're together. They're a brand.
I've heard that same description from other people who've met Bill Clinton. That's for sure. When the allegations came out, I mean, it looks like the polls are tightening anyway. Do you have any faith, Gary, that maybe combination of WikiLeaks and this will positively affect the outcome of this election?
Well, I can't see how it can't affect it a little bit. But, I mean, listen, for the record, I'm voting Trump. There's no way I can vote for Hillary Clinton. But, there's a large group of the population out there, no matter what you show them about the Clintons, they just blow it off the bat. They don't care. They're going to vote for them no matter what. But as this gets worse and worse, and trust me, if you think what happened over the weekend, the fact that what they found gave the FBI, the Justice Department gave the FBI permission to get a search warrant and start pulling Abedin's life apart. If you think that's bad, by the time we get 7 more days ahead or 8 to the election, it will change even more drastically. That's the thing you have to realize with the Clintons that I document in my book, Crisis of Character. It keeps getting worse all the time.
Yeah.
Just when you think it's as crazy as it can be, it gets crazier.
Sure it will. Gary Byrne, again, I've heard you, the book is Crisis of Character. White House Secret Service officer disclosing his firsthand experience with Hillary, Bill, and how they operate. Particularly timely right now. You can find it on Amazon.com. Gary, have a great day.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. But always fascinating. My mother-in-law just had a chance to meet Bill Clinton when he was president, when he was here one time. My father-in-law was part of the local security detail. She got a chance to meet him, get a picture with him. And she said that he was the kind of guy, and we've all known politicians like this, who makes you feel like you're the only person in the room when he's talking to you. And that's what ingratiates him to people. Of course, you don't notice where his hands are at that point, maybe, but I'm just saying. 314